Emergency alert for our power grid, folks. This affects 170 million Americans and charges against SVB have been dropped. Now, an important factor to consider whenever we think about housing is the assurance that we have dependable water and dependable energy supply, no matter what, right? It's the same thing when you're not even looking to buy a house and you're just checking for rental properties. You need to make sure that you have both because let's face it, it would be incredibly difficult to survive without these two. But what happens if we just suddenly run out of power?
As heat scorches large parts of the nation, the largest power grid operator, serving 13 states and Washington, D.C., is issuing an emergency alert, asking power plants to run at full capacity to meet increased demand.
And the largest grid is managed by none other than PJM Interconnection LLC. The Energy Emergency Alert Level 1 basically means that they fear that they won't be able to maintain enough power as consumers and businesses alike are expected to turn on their air conditioning due to all of this heat. About 170 million Americans are under heat advisories, and it would be insanely problematic if the power grid just broke down or lost power due to high usage at this point. This is all at the same time where the Biden administration is trying to do away with portable gas generators. Isn't it crazy that our own grids aren't stable, but yet we continue to hear them boast about electric vehicles and provide ideas to ban everything that runs on gas, like generators? But what do you guys think about that? Are we really ready for that next big step to handle climate change as we're being told? Or are we now being set up for failure? Now, on that note, health insurance giant Cigna just got slapped with a federal lawsuit as it's alleged that they used a computer algorithm or a type of artificial intelligence, AI, to automatically reject hundreds of thousands of claims from patients without examining them individually, something that California law requires. Now, this is just crazy, folks. Just how many sick people did they reject? Oh, more than 300,000 people in just 2 months. I mean, what more can I say after that? This is horrible. But I guess, coming from an insurance company, it's not unexpected. And in their defense, the company says that they're using this technology to verify codes on some of the most common low-cost procedures, making sure that they're provided to them accurately. And if the codes are not right, then they give proper guidance as to how to make an appeal. Do you guys think that this is actually what's happening behind the scenes?
Investigative journalists at the nonprofit ProPublica found that the health insurance company Cigna uses an automated system that allows it to instantly reject claims on medical grounds without even opening the customer's file. Some are accusing Cigna of using the system to help cut costs at the expense of the patients, a claim which Cigna denies. Joining me now is Maya Miller, one of the reporters who worked on the story. Maya, thank you so much for joining us. Can you explain to me how this system works?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you go to a doctor or, see your healthcare provider, they'll send in a claim to your health insurance plan, and they'll list the diagnosis that think that you have, and then a list of tests or procedures that they want to run. We learned that there's a process that was developed at Cigna about a decade or so ago, in which they created this code, this computer code, this algorithm that says we're going to approve them if they match certain conditions. But if they don't match another condition, let's say a diagnosis that they don't think that is worthy of that treatment, then it will be sent to the desk of a medical director, which is a company doctor. And that doctor is going to be able to quickly sign off on rejecting that claim and saying,
now, if the lawsuit holds true, then they're probably completely cheating people out of claims and their rights. Now, speaking of cheating the system, 8 members who run recycling centers in Riverside County, they're facing felony charges due to a recycling fraud investigation. Now, you're probably thinking, just how much did they make to justify an investigation? It's only recyclable stuff, right? You don't make much money out of that, right? Well, try $7.6 million from plastic bottles and aluminum cans. Wow. So what this family did was redeem this money illegally by smuggling over 178 tons of empty containers from Arizona to California to defraud the California Beverage Container Recycling Program. Man, the Department of Justice is really efficient when it comes to normal folks who steal money, huh? Wish they were this efficient with everyone else. Now, if you were wishing the very same thing, make sure you guys go ahead and drop a like for the video and also subscribe to the channel because it definitely means the world to me, guys. Now, here's something that's completely true. The IRS will now be stopping in-person visits, or at least most of it.
So for many of us, any visit from the IRS is probably unwelcome. It usually means that they want your hard-earned money. But if an IRS employee has knocked on your door once, you don't have to worry about it. They're not going to be knocking anymore. The IRS is ending its most unannounced visits to taxpayer homes after concern over employee safety and taxpayer safety.
But I need to be clear here. They did say that these visits may happen due to a few unique circumstances. Now, you got to wonder if it's connected at all to a tweet from Senator Rick Scott where he called out the agency for bringing dozens of armed agents to raid a Florida business. Now, again, another agency with a heavy hand of everyone except, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about. But what do you think? Is this one of those unique circumstances that they're talking about? By the way, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below in this video. And if we're talking about unique, you'd probably think that alcohol in Disneyland would be rare, right? Well, times have changed drastically, and more adults can now call this place the happiest place on earth again, probably after a few bottles. 3 restaurants in Disneyland will now start to serve alcohol near the end of this year. And if that doesn't scream thirsty for people's money, I don't know what does. Now, it's obvious to see that more and more people are now deciding to take their money elsewhere, and this is just one of their ways to try to stir up interest from older folks. Now, interest with cryptocurrency must be on the rocks, as some companies are now willing to provide a sort of universal basic income to just try and convince people to provide them not with money, but with their biometric data, more specifically their eyes. Check this out.
Now, would you be willing to provide a scan of your eye in order to get hold of a new cryptocurrency? That is what is required to authenticate your identity if you want to use Worldcoin, a new form of digital money that has just been launched. It's the brainchild of Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. The scanners look like this, and the company says they are necessary because AI is making it more difficult to distinguish humans from bots. The release comes as regulators increasingly crack down on crypto over fears that it is enabling fraud and unhealthy speculation.
Why is it always the Sams that are creating these crypto companies, huh? Now, as far as I know, you give your biometrics data, which are your eyeballs, not literally, of course, and you're then provided weekly deposits of Worldcoin crypto just for being, well, a human being. That has to be the best job ever, right? Oh, you're human? Why didn't you say so? Here's some cryptocurrency for you. Unbelievable. Now, it's unclear how they're going to drive revenue by providing us with money, but maybe they're willing to sell our data to other people. Who knows? But would you ever go so far as to get a retina scan for money? And who knows what they're going to do with your biometric data? And since this guy's named Sam as well, did you hear about Sam Bankman-Fried and how prosecutors dropped the campaign finance charge against him? Now, I'm asking the same question as you are. What are the first charges that were dropped? But yeah, it must be good for SBF, as federal prosecutors told a Manhattan judge that they're not going through with the charge of conspiracy to make unlawful campaign contributions. Does that mean that he's innocent? Or does it mean that he donated wisely? You guys tell me, so make sure you sound off in the comment section down below. And before I go, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.